Hey everyone, it's Foxxy here once again with a Janus Halcyon 250 owned by Devin of MotoCult. So in the past, I made a video comparing this exact Janus 250 bone stock to MotoCult's Stage 4 Plus Performance Package. I went over things like 0 to 50 times, 0 to 60, as well as some of the other benefits that the Stage 4 Plus offered over that of a stock Halcyon 250. But this bike doesn't have that Stage 4 Plus. This, my friends, is MotoCult's all-new Paragon Performance Package. I touched on the Paragon Package in this video here, where I talked about my love-hate relationship with the Halcyon 250. This is where I talk more in detail about the Paragon Kit. What is it? Why does it matter? Why is it any better than that of the Stage 4 Kit? All those questions will be answered, hopefully, in today's video. Before anything, I do have to mention that this is not the full production setup. What I have here is a prototype version of the Paragon package. So what you see here will more than likely differ from that of the full production run that you would go about ordering. I'm just saying. Now, we should right off the gate talk about pricing and what exactly you get out of the Paragon Performance Package. So not only do you get everything out of the Stage 4 Plus, as well as a completely unrestricted exhaust, this one does not have a baffle, you also get a larger radiator with a fan-controlled unit, the Paragon Cam, a 32mm intake with performance Neve carburetor, a short pull throttle, and a 41-tooth rear sprocket. You can also get this with either a pod filter or the super cool velocity stack, which is this red guy right here. Fun little fact, and I may not be 100% accurate on this, but if I recall correctly from Devin, the first bike that Devin and Richard ever made together had a velocity stack. Kind of a cool little callback to the past. This velocity stack, by the way, can come with a unifoam filter if you would like. This whole kit costs $2,250, which is about $600 more than that of the Stage 4 Plus kit. Also worth pointing out, this kit is able to be used with all of the 250 models, the Halcyon, Griffin, and the ultra rare Phoenix. Just over $2,000, I don't really feel as bad, all things considered. The damn exhaust I want in my Thruxton alone is over $1,500. Actually, my wife's Speed 400 is even more disgustingly expensive. Again, this is just an exhaust. The Paragon package, you're basically getting an entire Christmas day's worth of stuff all in one bundle. Kinda insane when you think about it. If you are not all that mechanically inclined, Devin does offer a service for the installation of all these parts, which will vary depending on which kit you end up going with. And he often has sales and deals from time to time, so you very well could get this at a reduced rate, especially with the holidays coming up. Alright, so now on to the very important stuff, and that is the testing. Now, if you have followed me for some time now, you know that I do all my testing with what is known as a Dragy device. It's the same thing I use on all my Project Royal Enfield videos, and of course, the same device I used in that Stage 4 Plus video. This device, if you are not aware, gives you accurate data showing things like 0 to 60 numbers, which include data from 10-mile-an-hour increments. It'll tell you if you're going uphill, downhill, and various other incredibly useful information. Also, for those wondering, yes, the speedometer is badly inaccurate. Yes, there is a very simple way to calibrate it. I have just not done it. Janus does offer a video on how to do it, and I guess I've just been too lazy to do it on my own. By the way, Devin wanted me to do these tests with both a 43 and a 41 tooth rear sprocket. So I'm going to give you numbers as well as which one I personally liked better. Okay, so on a bone stock Halcyon 250, the 0 to 50 was 10.72 seconds, with the 0 to 60 being a woeful 20.35 seconds. These numbers are based off, by the way, the average of 5 results. The Stage 4 Plus, the 0 to 50 dropped to 7.24 seconds, with the 0 to 60 being cut dramatically down to just 11.60. That, of course, is a massive improvement just with that Stage 4 Plus kit alone. But what about the Paragon Kit? Well, again, this is based off 5 results, and this is with the 43-tooth sprocket. The numbers have improved even more. 0 to 50 with the Paragon Kit, I averaged at 6.84 seconds, with the 0 to 60 averaging at 10.63. Now, here's the thing. The improvement isn't drastic by any means if you were to compare it to that of the Stage 4 Plus to the Paragon, but still, a full second improvement is nothing to really scoff about. The fastest time I got off that 43 tooth, I hit 0 to 60 numbers at just a hair over 10.2 seconds. All things considered, that's pretty damn quick for what this bike is. The Paragon Kit versus stock in particular, we're talking half that time to get to 60 miles an hour, which is no small feat. So with the 41 tooth sprocket, I did have slightly worse results, which makes complete sense considering the gearing is better for top speed and not so much the acceleration. So 0 to 50 off that 41 tooth, I averaged 7.35 seconds, with the 0 to 60 number hitting 11.07 seconds. My confidence in the 41 tooth results are kinda in the middle for a few reasons. You see, I was consistently hitting similar numbers off the 43 tooth, while the 41, I was kind of bouncing all over the place. The worst test, I hit 60 miles an hour at 13 seconds, with my best, which was an invalid result due to a low satellite signal, was 9.91 seconds. I think the reason for this inconsistency is due to the fact I probably put on 400 miles with that Paragon Kit prior to the rear sprocket swap. So I could very well have influenced those numbers just from not being 100% accustomed to the changing gearing, which is entirely my fault if that is to be the case. If I haven't already, I'll put up a little Excel sheet here showing the numbers between the stock bike, Stage 4 Plus, and the Paragon Kit with both the sprockets. As far as to how the Paragon Kit handles speeds past 60 miles an hour, it's incredibly noticeable over that of the Stage 4 Plus. Not exactly with top speed, because with the Stage 4, I hit 75 plus miles an hour, and I did that exact same thing with the Paragon Kit, but the biggest difference is that the acceleration past 60 is noticeably easier to hit higher speeds with the Paragon Kit. Before, you could easily tell it was losing power past about 65, and I didn't feel that way with the Paragon Kit. I noticed a power loss starting to happen at 70, which at that point is where you're going to be pushing the bike to hit that same top speed I hit before, which, if I recall correctly, was 77 miles an hour on flat ground. Yeah, the bike can go faster than that. I'm sure I could hit 80 plus miles an hour very easily, but it's not exactly something I'm overly comfortable doing. It starts to get a little squirrely, and I don't know, it's just not my thing. So 75 miles an hour on a bike like this, to be honest with you, feels like 100 miles an hour on really anything else. Now, as far as my opinions go between the 43 and the 41 tooth rear sprocket, it's kinda straightforward. I do like both options, but for very different reasons. You see, the 43 tooth I loved for the acceleration and that aggressive raw power you get from it, while the 41 tooth I loved for it being able to handle higher cruising speeds comfortably, like 60, 65 miles an hour, even 70 in some cases, without that exhaust screaming bloody murder, and of course being less buzzy. Plus, I would assume the gas mileage and overall range would be better off with that 41 tooth sprocket. You know, it really just depends on your intended use with this motorcycle and that Paragon kit. I have to look at it this way. If this was my own personal bike, I'd probably take it on the exact same roads I would with my Royal Enfield Classic 350, and because of that, I very well probably would go with that 41-tooth sprocket. You see, I take 55 to 70 mile an hour roads all the time with the Royal, and I would be 100% comfortable doing this exact same thing with the Halcyon. If you didn't take 60 mile an hour roads often, you probably have no reason for a 41-tooth sprocket, but like I said, it just kind of depends on the individual rider. Worth noting that MotoCult is now offering a 39-tooth sprocket, which I have not had the chance to check out just yet. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Dyno tests. I know a lot of you guys love these charts. It's a big deal to you guys, I get it. And yes, Devin has provided me one showing the stock bike, a Stage 4 Plus, and with his new Paragon kit off the exact same bike. Now, bone stock, this motorcycle will pull around 12 horses, but at just over 6.5 thousand RPMs. These two performance packages not only increase that power band, but dramatically change how that power is distributed. It's smoother, more predictable, and that power, it's stretched out much farther, which you could easily tell since that peak power is now at 7.7 thousand RPMs instead of 6.5 off of a stock bike. But even then, you still have a bit more power before it starts to dip back down. So at 7.7 thousand RPMs, the Stage 4 Plus gets 78% more horsepower over a stock bike. Now with the Paragon kit, that increase in horsepower is just a hair under 105%. 105% increase in horsepower over a bone stock Halcyon 250. That's pretty wild. I don't know of another motorcycle offhand where you could do something like this without basically doing an engine swap off of a bigger bike. It's very impressive, to say the least. My thoughts on this whole Paragon Performance Kit overall is very positive. You know, the increase in power and torque is great and all, but there's more about this whole deal that I just really like. The velocity stack, I mean, come on, it's just stupid cool. I don't know how well this translates over a camera's microphone, but you could physically hear it sucking up all that air, kind of like when people put those open air intakes on their Harleys or Yamahas and various cars. It has that same sort of intake sound. It's cool as hell. And yes, by the way, you can get this in a handful of different colors, not just with black, red, or silver. This new completely unrestricted exhaust is, yes, extremely loud. I love the way it sounds, but it's very obnoxious at high RPMs. Now, thankfully, MotoCult does offer a baffle that can be used with this setup. Outside of the velocity stack, my absolute favorite thing about this entire thing is that short pull throttle. Now, this should be the standard on all Janus motorcycles, period. I don't know why, but the stock bike's throttle has so much travel to get to wide open throttle for like no good reason. The short pull throttle opens that carb completely with it being like only a quarter turn pull. It's unbelievably better over that stock setup. In general, the bike with both the Stage 4 Plus and this Paragon kit make this little 250 so much better overall. Not even just with a power aspect, but just with the way the motorcycle operates. It's night and day better over stock. Cold starts, far quicker and easier over stock. The bike is far less buzzy. That throttle response is significantly better. The bike is smoother with the power delivery and just with the engine in general. Honestly, take all the go fast, power hungry stuff out of the equation entirely. Simply the way the bike operates as a whole with the Paragon package or even that Stage 4 Plus kit is absolutely fantastic. Now, with the whole power stuff, it definitely turns this into a motorcycle that is capable of daily riding without being as restricted or, limited onto the roads that you can take. I have taken this motorcycle on highways before, going 70 for prolonged distances, and I was totally cool with it. I had no issues whatsoever. The only major downside that I can think of offhand is that your gas mileage is going to suffer, which is to be expected anytime you really mess around with horsepower. You are going to lose some mile per gallon, but if it makes this a more well-rounded, capable motorcycle, if I lose 20 to 30 miles of range, it's something that I'm personally cool with. But maybe that 39-tooth rear sprocket would further compensate some, but I won't know since I just haven't had a chance to play around with it yet. So yeah, guys, that is the Janus Halcyon 250 with the new Paragon Performance Package by MotoCult. It's pretty damn cool at the end of the day. I love it personally. I've said this in my last video, but if I ever did get a Janus, it would only ever be a Phoenix, mind you. I couldn't keep it stock. I would immediately contact Devin and have that Paragon kit on order. So with that, thank you very much, MotoCult, for allowing me to check this bike out once more. And thank you to everyone for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.